Ann Hull comes to us with a broad background in working with federal agencies and with professional services firms on career development issues. And she's going to talk to us first, and using that background. Ann, can you give us 2 tips about people focus when they're looking for a job? What are 2 smart things they could do to improve their chances?
Well, thank you, Patra. I think one thing is true for people who are both looking for a new job as well as people who are trying to further their positions within their own organizations is knowing that they have mastered certain technical and functional skills of a position. Employers are also looking for some of those other competencies that they've demonstrated that are important to the organization. Some of these competencies might include things like problem solving that have sustainable solutions and examples of those. Perhaps how they've managed resources, which includes not only just money and budgets, people, time, costs, equipment, all those types of resources, as well as their communication skills. People's reputations are made or broken on their communication skills. So how have they demonstrated having good communication skills not only with their colleagues, but also across departments, across generations in many cases? I think the other thing is how have they demonstrated their own character, their integrity, and their ethics, which are so vitally important these days. The other thing, particularly for job seekers, is know what the organization does before you have a chat, before you interview, or before you talk with people at a job fair, so that you can then tailor what you've done to match some of the things that they're looking for in the areas that I just talked about, but also in their functional and technical areas. Know the organization's mission and goal, and then tailor your needs to how that area supports those mission and goals.
In order to get a job with a government contracting firm, tip number 1 is find ways to relate to that government contracting firm, the people who are in the firm, as well as the type of work. For instance, we know that the population of government contracting firms is largely systems-driven, populated largely by engineers. In your interview, show a comfort level in interacting with those engineers. Process-driven. Government contracting firms are process-driven to accomplish an objective, not just for the process, but toward the objective. Therefore, in your resume, relate to that firm. Show examples of processes that you may have used to a successful conclusion of a project or a program that you manage. Another tip is understand and do not ignore the culture of government contracting firms. In other words, what they're like. These are conservative firms. Don't send your resume on pink paper in order to stand out. You will stand out, will have a good chuckle, but the problem for you, the job seeker, would be a clear indication that you don't understand our culture. It is a process-driven organization, and as such, everything adheres to a process. We don't shortcut. Know as an interviewee that interviewing and hiring follows a process, and you're going to need to follow all those steps. You can't jump across a couple of steps or shortcut that process. And finally, these are contract-driven firms. Don't be surprised if in an interview you are asked, can you handle living with the here today, gone tomorrow nature of the contract-driven world? And a bonus, tip 3, not really, it's a bonus, is when you hire into a government contracting firm, a star is not born. You are not there to become the star. Your mission is to support your client and make them the star.
Thank you both very much. Now I know that today you've also been talking to a lot of job seekers and giving us a hand with that difficult process for all of us when we look for work. Ann, is there one thing you noticed especially that you haven't mentioned that you think job seekers really need to pay attention to on their resumes?
I talked with some very talented exceptional people today. It was a pleasure to work with them. And I think more often than not, I talked with people who weren't clear about the type of work they wanted to do. And so it does go back to focus. Your resume needs to be focused toward the kind of work you want to do more of. If there are jobs that you have had, you need to list on your resume, but you probably don't need to go into as much detail if it's not the kind of work you want to do more of, because people tend to hire for the type of work they see on your resume. So it's one way to help pare down your resume to that vital 2 pages or less, is to take out the things that are not what you want to do more of.
And Nancy, what about the people you talk to?
I second what she said. And the other thing that I found today is a lack of understanding of what you want to put into the description of the work that you did per that position. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about accomplishments. It seems that the large lack in the resumes that I saw today was we have the job duties listed, but the part that was lacking is, and what was the outcome of performing that duty? You will come across as a much stronger candidate if you sort of complete the job, complete the process, duty plus what was the outcome.
Great. Thank you both. I really appreciate your taking our time to give our viewers a chance at improving that lovely job search that none of them wants to do, but all of them need to succeed at. Thank you.
Thank you.